All right, welcome back to another exciting programming tutorial. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about how to write to a file in Python. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And the current goal is to get to 1,000 subs. That's a long way, and I would appreciate your help. All right, let's just jump into it. So first thing I want to talk about is the path of where we're going to place the file. And for me, I have a File Explorer open. It popped up on my other monitor. Here it is. So this is the file that I've been working with, or folder rather, directory I've been working with that I put a lot of my programming stuff in. And we want to put some kind of text file in here. So I'm just going to copy this path, and I'm going to make a path variable, and it's just going to hold that. And because of these backslashes, I have to preface this with an R, or it'll get really upset because it thinks it's a special character. And what we're going to do is import OS. We're not doing this because of the writing to this path. We're actually going to combine this path with the file name, which I'm going to create a variable for, and then we're going to combine these two. So the file name for our text file, let's just call it example.txt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine this path and then basically add another slash and then the name of the text file. So the way we can do that, full path is my variable. So the way we can do that is os.path.join. And then the first part is going to be this long path, and then file name. And I believe you can make as many, I think you can make as many parameters as you want. You can keep going and add arguments along the way. It'll just add one after the other is what I'm trying to say. So the first one will be the first part, the second one will be the second part, and if it keeps going, so on and so forth. But we just have our two parts here. Okay, so let me, for the sake of things, let me just print this out and show you now what this whole full path looks like, so you know I'm not talking out of my ass or anything. So Python, if I could spell it correctly, and then YouTube. And you can see it prints out this whole path to the text file now. Cool, so now we have to worry about writing to this text file. And how do we go about doing that? So the first thing we're going to do is, I'm going to call this opener, and we're going to use the open function. And the first one is the path to the file, and then the second one is the mode. So it takes two parameters, the path and the mode. And there are a few modes that you can do. There are 3 total. There's create, append, and write, and I'll go through them as a comment up here. So what create will do, and this is the character for that mode. So if we want to do create, I would do this. But I'm going to go through them all first. So create, what it'll do is it'll look for this text file, example.txt. It'll look in here, the whole path, and if it's not there, it'll create it. And if it is there, it'll return an error. And I guess the reason for using this is because maybe in your code you expect it to not be there. And then if it is there, you want to raise said error, so you would use create. So that's what create does. If it's not there, it creates it. If it is there, it throws an error. Append, so its letter is A, and it'll just append onto the file. If there's already content in that file, it'll just add to the very end of that where you left off. And lastly is write. Write basically does the same thing as create in terms of writing it, except it doesn't throw an error if it already exists. If it does already exist, it clears it out and rewrites over it. So if you have content in there already and you use write and you write something new, it'll just contain that new stuff. It won't contain anything it had before. So I'll go through all of these actually, and let's start with create. Let's just go down the line. And what I want to do is just write to it. So we can do opener dot write, and hey, this is some text, you idiot. Very supportive. let's go ahead and run this. So yeah, it's just going to write to this whole path. And since it's not there, we can see it appear over here. So let's run this. And you can see now this example.txt appeared. And if we click on this and open it, it says, hey, this is some text, you idiot. Cool. Now let's see if we run it again, because we're using create. We expect to get an error because it already exists, right? And here you go, file exists. So it does throw an error, and it doesn't do anything to this. It just leaves it as is. Okay, so let's exit that, and let's try append. Actually, I didn't want to exit that. Let me bring it back up. So now it has, hey, this is some text, you idiot. And now we want to append to the file. So theory being, it's going to have that twice, one after the other. So we run it, we look at it, and sure enough, it has it right after the other. If we wanted to, we could do something like n for new line, /n. And let's kill this. Let's delete it. And I made sure I saved that. Let's run this. So the first time, we're only going to have one line. And it didn't do it. I didn't do the right slash. Whoops. My bad. I always get them mixed up. Let's kill it again. And let's forget that that ever happened. So I think that's saved. We'll run it. We will open example.txt. There's no -n now, or /n. And if we run it again, we get it on a new line. So that's what you can do. If you want to make everything on a new line, when you append, you can just either preface it with the \n or end every statement with \n. The only thing is you don't want to preface it with the \n at the very beginning, because then it'll have a random blank line at the top. And then lastly, we look at write. So good example, we already have some text in here. We have 2. So when we use write, we expect to only have 1, because it'll clear everything out and put the new stuff in. And sure enough, it did. So those are the 3 basic methods and how to write to a text file in Python. In the next video, I plan on talking about how to read from a text file in Python. And then maybe after that, we can talk about how to make some XML files out of Python, so on and so forth. So hope you guys found this useful, and I will see you guys in the next video.